Hello, welcome to the Quakes Motel. My name's Conan. I'm the concierge. Talking Heads video today. I did actually intend on doing a video showing another old school technique in drum programming, but I've been working, this is going to sound so stupid, I've been working on beat tape number 3 and it's been pretty intense, and I've been flat out on the MPC, multiple MPCs, and my 2 fingers on my right hand and my index finger on my left hand have kind of calloused up, dried up, and then split. So I literally cannot do anything with these 3 fingers because it's so sore. I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever had split fingertips before, but it's not a pleasant experience. And it's just come from constant MPCing. Is that a word? So I couldn't do that video today. So what I thought I would do instead is, and I've been meaning to do it, well, I've got to look at this in 2 ways. I've been meaning to do it, but also I've not really wanted to do it. But the most asked question on my channel and speaking to other people on forums, and even on my personal Facebook and Instagram is, Conan, when are you going to buy the MPC sample? Are you going to get the MPC sample? What do you think of the MPC sample? So I thought that I would do my best to put that question to bed and give you some of my views on it. Like I said, it's not really a video that I was dying to make, but I do these talking head videos sometimes about things like this. So I thought that today, due to my split fingers, that it might, oh, by the way, these, right, are silicone plasters. Just make sure it's in shot, it's in focus. These are silicone plasters. They go over the end of your fingers. They're brilliant if you've got split fingers like I have. However, my fingers are at such a point now where even with those on, it hurts to hit pads. So anyway, just thought I'd let you know that. A little bit of useful information. I'm not affiliated with silicone fingertip people, and there will not be a link below for silicone fingertip people. So the MPC sample, let me answer this question. No, I'm not going to be buying an MPC sample anytime soon. And I very much doubt that Akai are going to be sending me an MPC sample anytime soon, especially considering the reviews I've given on their plugins recently. So the main reason for it, to be honest, I'm going to go into the main reason for it, but I'm also going to go into the battle that I've had in my head about buying the MPC sample and whether or not I should buy the MPC sample. Firstly, the reason why I didn't jump on buying an MPC sample was because it doesn't bring anything new to the table for me. I made a vow last year. I should have made this vow many, many years ago, but I made this vow last year that I wouldn't buy anything new for the studio unless it brought something new to the table. I've had so many samplers, guitars, keyboards, outboard equipment over the years, and I've been very, very lucky to have this stuff. And over the years, I've gradually refined to what I really, really need and a few pieces that I want to keep. This is why I've still got my 2500, my 2000 XL. Although, to be honest, I do actually really, really enjoy working on those. So I wouldn't get rid of those because they're part of my workflow. So I actually scratch what I said there. So resisting buying a Live II, resisting buying an MPC XL, resisting buying this, resisting buying that. You know, I even do it with plugins now. Unless this plugin's really, really going to bring something new to the table for me in my workflow, I won't buy it, no matter how much I want to. I might download the trial and maybe do a review on the channel for it because, you know, obviously I do plugin reviews. But unfortunately with equipment, you can't really get, I can't borrow well, I suppose I could borrow an XL if I knew somebody, but Dubai is not exactly a hive of activity with MPCs. So I don't know anybody with a Live III in Dubai or anybody with an XL, so I can't try it out. And the same with the sample as well. I don't know anybody. So it wasn't bringing anything new to the table for me from what I'd seen. And believe me, you know, I pretty much read the manual. Because I do that, pretty much watched, I would imagine, almost every MPC sample video, certainly on the regular channels, people like Milo Diggs, obviously, Bolo, all that, you know, the usual suspects, checking them out, seeing what they thought about it, what it could do, that kind of thing. And I just decided that it doesn't really bring anything new to the table for me. It looks great. It's a good price. But, for that kind of thing, for that kind of workflow, and I'm not comparing them here, but for that small portable, sit on the sofa with something on my lap or sit in a restaurant or whatever, I've got the SP404 Mark II, and I'm more than happy with that. And what it's actually done is made me fall in love with the SP404 Mark II again. And I was intending on doing one track for the new beat tape number 3. I just thought, I'm just going to make one track for the beat tape number 3 on the SP404, and I've actually ended up making 8 of the 15. I normally do about 20, and then I'll pick 15 from that. So 8 tracks I've done so far on the SP404 Mark II for the new beat tape, because I just completely fell in love with the ease. With beat tapes, you're not reinventing the wheel. You're not doing, 80 tracks with full orchestra, etc. So it's all fairly simple and all fairly straightforward. So exactly what you would do on the MPC Sample. Very, very simple workflow and just going back to basics. So the SP404 Mark II fills that gap for me. So I didn't feel the need to immediately jump on the MPC Sample. Now, I'm going to go into the battle that I've had with this. And I don't want it to sound... Well, actually, do you know what? I'm just going to say it how it is, and you can make a judgment, because, I do know there are some haters out there that judge all content creators on this. They all think we're trying to get views. They all think we're rolling in money from our YouTube videos. I can assure you we're not. You don't make very much money from making YouTube videos, I can promise you, unless you're going viral all the time and you're getting millions of views, hundreds of thousands of views. But in a niche kind of YouTube scenario, you don't tend to make very much money. All of us, even people like Bolo, will average, between 3 to 8,000 views if you've got a pretty good brand going and you've got people following you and that kind of stuff. So even people like Bolo are not hitting loads and loads of views on a regular basis with our normal videos. So I don't want this to come across as that all I'm into is views, because it's absolutely not the case. However, when you build a channel and you're kind of doing educational stuff, tutorials, reviews and stuff, you're kind of building a brand with that as well, because obviously the brand I'm building, Crates Motel, has been around for a long time. I release records. I'm now releasing drum kits. I give you guys free stuff. And obviously, I'm a mixing and mastering engineer, so I'm with my channel, it also advertises me as a mixing and mastering engineer. It's all a brand, it's all about multiple platforms nowadays. It's all about, using social media platforms. It's about doing everything. You can't just be a mixing and mastering engineer or just a producer anymore and just make some beats and then just hope that somebody comes across you. You have to market them. You have to put them out there on multiple platforms. So part of my YouTube channel is part of that brand. So whilst I absolutely love making tutorial videos and I love doing reviews and I love showing you old school techniques and I love sharing with you all of my experiences over the years, I am also building a brand, and consequently you do want to reach more people and you do want to get views on your videos. Ultimately that is the point for most content creators. I'm not saying all content creators. There might be some content creators out there that are happy to make a video and get no views whatsoever. And I'm down with that. I respect that. That's absolutely cool. But my YouTube channel is part of my brand. It's part of my business. So I appreciate getting views and getting feedback, and the joy that I get from my channel is that I'm also teaching people things. I'm also spreading the word. When I'm long gone, my legacy will be my YouTube channel and the music that I make and the information that I've passed on. All my experiences, all of my knowledge that I've passed to you guys, I hope that you pay it forward. I've said this a million times in my videos. It's one of the joys for me is giving somebody some information, teaching them something, and then hearing further down the line that they then share that with somebody else, and then they then share that with somebody else, etc., paying it forward. That for me is a joy. And so consequently, it's nice to make a little bit of money on the side, but it's also really, really nice to pass my knowledge out there and people pay it forward, I guess. So you're wondering, why am I going on about this? The thing is, is my numbers in the last month or so. I wasn't really affected by the XL or the Live III so much, but since the MPC Sample has come out, my numbers have gone through the floor. You know, I was easily hitting between 3,000 and 5,000 views in a couple of days. And when the MPC Sample first came out, I expected a little bit of a dip, but I didn't expect it to be for as long as it has been. I'm lucky if I make over 1,000 views at the moment, but I've consistently released the same kind of stuff. You know, I am consistently still releasing tutorials, plugin reviews, going over mixing and mastering stuff. You know, I've carried on being my consistent Crates Motel channel. I haven't done anything different. The only thing I haven't done is release videos about the MPC Sample. And I'm seeing content creators make videos about the MPC Sample where they are literally just sat on the MPC Sample saying, oh, this is good. Oh, look what happens when you press this button. And they're getting 20,000 views in less than a day. Now, I don't begrudge that. That's fantastic. Good on them. I'm not sitting here going, oh, it's not fair. They're getting loads of views and I'm not. But what I'm trying to get to is this is the battle that I was going through. I was thinking to myself, well, oh my God, my numbers have gone through the floor. Is it because I don't own an MPC Sample? Will my channel become irrelevant if I don't buy an MPC Sample? This is such a first world problem. When I look at all the problems that people have in life, and my problem was, should I buy an MPC Sample to keep my views up on my channel? And it sounds pathetic, but I feel like with my regular viewers, I feel like we have a rapport. I know some of you through talking to you constantly, etc. So I feel like I can be honest with you about things like this. And if you don't know me and if you don't watch my channel regularly, you might just think I'm a bit of a dick, going on about views and going on about, oh, I don't have the MPC Sample, my views have gone down. And that's fine as well. I don't have a problem with that. But that's the battle that I've been going through, this constant, like, perhaps I should buy an MPC Sample, because then if I buy an MPC Sample and I make a video, then I'll get 20,000 views if I just press a button on the MPC Sample and say, look what this does. Or if I make a video saying the MPC Sample is good, it's this shape. Or look at the MPC Sample, I really like the color of it. And there's people getting 20,000 views plus on that. So this battle that I was going through, thinking that perhaps I need to buy an MPC Sample to stay relevant. But then that was on that shoulder. And then on my other shoulder, I had this other person shouting in my ear saying, no, Conan, just carry on doing what you're doing, because consistency is what's built your channel. Consistency is what has spread the word to people. You have faithful people. You have people that they might not be watching your videos right now, but you make evergreen content, so they will watch them. It's just your numbers have gone down for the moment because people are just interested in the MPC Sample. And the thing is I get that. I get that when something new comes out, people want to watch as many videos as they possibly can. And the thing about the MPC Sample, and this is where Akai have hit a really, really good spot, is its disposable income level. You know, $400 for a lot of the people that are into making music is not very much money. I mean, look, to some people, to me, $400 is a lot of money. You know, because I run my own business, because I DJ, because I'm a mixing and mastering, it's all freelance. It can be a struggle sometimes. So $400 is a lot of money to me. But to a lot of people, $400 is kind of, you know, what you'd spend on a night out. You know, so you're quite happily just, well, I might as well just buy the sample just to see what it's like. If I don't like it, it can just go on my shelf and gather dust, or I'll play with it for a month and then I'll go off it. So Akai have hit a really, really good spot there, and everybody, you know, most of the people that I know, I'm not going to say everybody, that's ridiculous, Conan, but a lot of people that I know have just bought one. And they've just got one and they're using it. Obviously, Akai have given out loads to people as well, and they're all making videos. And that's another thing as well. People who have not normally made videos are now making videos because they've got an MPC Sample, and that's brilliant. I love that. I love the fact that it's given people confidence to showcase their beats. I love the fact that it's given them confidence to make their own videos. There's more beat videos being posted, which is another brilliant thing. You know, these are all good things that have come from the sample. I'm not knocking the sample at all, and that's not what this video is about. It's not about my opinion of the sample, because I don't have one, so I'm not going to give you an opinion on it. This video is about the battle that I've gone through and whether I should buy one, and how I was feeling irrelevant by not owning one, by not buying one. The decision that I came to, and I guess that's why in a kind of natural course, in a natural progression, I've got to this point where I decided that I would actually make this video. I've been asked the question so many times, you would not believe it. Conan, are you going to buy it? What do you think of it, etc.? So I've got to this point now where I felt, actually, do you know what? I've made a decision on this. I'm not going to be buying an MPC sample in the near future. I might pick one up when they start hitting the market secondhand, which I'm sure they will, because there's a lot of them out there, kind of like James' last albums. I'm not saying they'll be in the bargain bin, but you know what I'm saying. If you crate dig, you'll know what I mean by James' last albums. So in the near future, it's not something I'm going to be looking to do. And for the reasons, and the reasons are this, if you haven't already worked it out from watching me ramble for the last 15 minutes, it doesn't bring anything new to the table for me. It doesn't do anything that I can't already do. I don't really need a portable sampler. This is a weird thing, right? And I'm going to get some hate for this. And this is just my personal opinion on the portable sampler thing. When I go to the beach, or when I go and have a meal, or when I go and sit in the park, or when I go for a walk in nature, my first thought is to get out of the studio and not make beats. My first thought is not to go and find somewhere to sit and make a beat. Now, that's another reason why portable samplers have never really been a thing for me. You know, if I really, really need to make a beat, I've got my phone and it's got koala on it. So I can make a beat if I really want to. But generally, when I'm in a situation where I would need something portable, I don't want to make a beat, because beats for me is in the studio. That's how my brain works. So that's another reason why an MPC sample doesn't appeal to me, because I don't need to, I'm going to go and sit on the beach and make a beat. I'm going to go and sit in the park and make a beat. It's just not my thing. It just really isn't my thing at all. So that's another reason that came into it. It doesn't bring anything new to the table. I don't need the portability. And the channel thing that I went on about, I don't need to have an MPC sample to stay relevant. My numbers have gone down. I have to deal with that. That's the way that it is. But my numbers will go back up again. People will, you know, start looking again to get back into their mixing side of things, the technique side of things, once the kind of hype wears off of the MPC sample, and I'll just ride it out. And in a way, I'm almost ashamed that I actually sat here and considered it to be an actual problem. When you look at what's going on in the world today, look, I live in the Middle East, so I'm right in the thick of it at the moment. And yet, despite the fact that missiles and drones were literally flying over my apartment, I was sat here thinking, should I buy the MPC sample so that my views don't go down? And that is ridiculous and stupid, and I feel ashamed of that. So that's why I'm not buying an MPC sample. I don't need it, and it's as simple as that. So thanks for sticking with me. I do enjoy doing these talking head videos sometimes. I know, but, you know, maybe I should do them more. I don't know. But I will get to the video that I said I was going to do, which is on another old school technique for drum programming, which is big with people like MF Doom, Madlib, J Dilla, Alchemist. And the person that I've heard recently do it more than anybody, and if you don't know this person, you need to check them out, Lo-Fi Hip Hop Instrumentals, your best friend Jippy, Australian fella from Perth. No one really knows very much about him. That's all I know about him. But he makes really, really cool lo-fi instrumental hip hop. He's got loads of stuff on Bandcamp. And it was his beat tapes that started, because this is a technique which Madlib and J Dilla and myself as well, I've used this, and I'll explain it in the video when I get to it. I don't want to give too much away. But your best friend Jippy, I started hearing him use it, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that technique. And that's another part of the video. It's a technique that we've all kind of forgotten about, but I'll get to that. So thanks for watching. This is the Crates Motel. My name's Conan. I'm the concierge. Till next time.
Concierge.